One of the very cool things about this show and why I like doing it is that you meet people you otherwise might not know, who you will know after we do the show. Jordan Taylor Wright is one of those people. Jordan, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, you have a career kind of behind the scenes with some really big names, you know, doing these kind of short takes on whether it's music videos, whether it's narrative videos. So I think that when people tune into this stuff, they don't realize what goes on behind that and how you get to that. I mean, you toured with Usher for quite a while. Now, I'm not an Usher expert, and I've read into him and listened, and you know, you can't help but stumble upon him if you wake up in the morning sometimes. But what got you there?
I think what got me there was just the wantingness to express myself. I knew early on at a young age that I loved filmmaking and making videos, which is a pretty awesome revelation to have as a young person, especially in today's day and age where you can go your whole life trying to figure out what you want to do or the best means to express yourself. So
tell me, I want to interrupt you, and I'm going to do that a few times because that's the nature of this show. Young age, how old were you when you first remembered wanting to do this?
5.
5.
Yeah.
What do you do at 5 years old? You're from New Jersey. You're in New Jersey on a July afternoon, and you want to make films. What do you do when you're 5?
I didn't have the capacity to do it at 5, but I would watch Disney movies, and I knew that I loved that world. I knew that I loved being transported and teleported into that level of fantasy, similar to when people listen to music. They picture a video where they're able to have a sense of nostalgia, or they're overwhelmed with a sense of imagination. Similarly, when I was watching movies, I had that same notion and feeling. So even if I wasn't consciously able to say, hey, I'm gonna recreate this exactly, I knew and I felt it. So even as early on as like sketching or drawing in a book or having Legos and building Legos and then, you know, making them look like buildings, and then in my own head, they looked like an imaginary world. I knew that this is a way to release and to express the vision that I had. And then I just kind of continued on with that internal compass. And in high school, I was fortunate that my school, Pascack Hills in Bergen County, New Jersey, my freshman year going in, it was the first year that the state offered laptops to students. So I was able to have this Sony laptop, and I took an elective, which was a video production course, and I was taught Adobe Premiere, which is an editing software, and we used Sony handy cameras, and that's when it was kind of the passion met the tools, and I was able to realize that, wait, I can film and then all of a sudden show the world the way I feel and I see it. And from that moment on, I was hooked. I was doing other friends' school projects for them just because I wanted to. I was making music videos with songs that I liked. I was filming different athletes and sports teams within the county and making recap edits of it. Actually, I filmed my history teacher's wedding when I was in high school, which was a really cool experience because you got to see that, you know, you have an idea of what teachers are, and then you go and see them drinking on the weekend, and you're like, you see them on a Monday
that they're real people,
in English class, and you're like, you guys were drunk this weekend. But
I bumped into a teacher of mine. It says something about both of us. There's something in New York that you may remember called OTB, which was off-track betting, where you could go and you could bet on a horse race. And I went in, and Mr. Hobson, the math teacher, was betting on a horse race, and of course his student was too. So it was a really funny kind of, oh, you do that, and he saw me, and he said, you shouldn't be here. You're too young. Right? We're all humans, which is true.
Yeah.
So you take that segue, right? And there's so much, you know. A lot of people will watch that Disney, a lot of kids will watch that Disney fantasy, and they'll say, I want to be in that, right? Not I want to make it. They'll say, I want to be on Dumbo's back. I want to be one of the Newsies. But you look at it and you said, I want to create that world, right? Were you conscious of that then?
I think they're one and the same. I think it's everyone wants to be what they want to create, and whether you're consciously aware of it, the internal frequency that you're holding is what you end up manifesting. So if you want to hold the notion of imagination and beauty and all of that, then you're going to create it, whether it's the conversations that you have or the circumstances that you get placed in. But to allow it to be your art or your means of expression or your work. It just takes that step of just trust that and no fear of judgment, that if I'm going to express myself in this medium, then if I do it truthfully, then it will resonate with another person. So I always had this kind of artistic mind or approach, and I also I was diagnosed with ADD and ADHD when I was younger, as many kids are, and to me, I was never put on medication. My mom opted not to do that, and she worked, and when she came home, I would be, running upstairs with blocks, making noises. And I even say to this day to her, I'm like, why didn't you, you didn't think I was crazy? You didn't want to stop me from running around? She's like, no, I knew that's how you let out, that was your outlet, that's how you let out your creativity. And it's the same thing with everybody. Everyone has these visions and they want to express themselves, or they feel something internally, whether it's sadness, anger, whatever it may be. And it's just about letting it out, whether it's writing or singing or dancing or filmmaking or photography. I felt it within and I wanted to release it, and I had no notion of judgment. So no matter what somebody said, I was like, I'm gonna make this. And I just continued to do it, and then you become better at it, and then eventually you sit on a couch on a talk show where people go, how did you get here? It's like, I just kept doing it,
Right.
Nike, just do it.
Right. Or you come to this one where we don't have couches, unfortunately. Sorry about that. But
no, it's very comfortable.
Okay, good. I'm glad you're comfortable. The idea that you are, and we're going to get to this later because I want to talk about the ADHD and the ADD and your mom saying no medication.
Yeah.
But for the moment, I want to talk about the creative side. And, I was thinking about my college experience, which we didn't have the access to that. I'm a year or two older than you, and we had there was one kid, Bob Curtis from Tallahassee, Florida. He's the only kid who had a computer on my floor at that time, to give you an idea of how far apart. What does the technology do to the creativity? Because for so long, creativity had nothing to do with technology.
I think it makes it more readily accessible, and it makes it more tangible of what you have the capacity to do now, because your iPhone is a high definition camera, and you could edit on your phone, and you can shoot on your phone, and you could take photos, and there's apps to add special effects. So if you have this vision, it's easier now, if you will, to be able to use these tools at your disposal. But art's been around since the dawn of time, since cave paintings or whatever it may be. There's always been a way of expressing yourself. So you can allow yourself to express what you're feeling. And I think that there's more consumption of content now, especially with social media, but it's knowing what feels good to you. So if you're on Instagram and you're looking at these photos, don't try to just replicate what people are doing. Understand what it's sparking inside of you, and then express it in your own vision.